Conference, it is an aggressive effort to get into solar energy big time for the city of Los Angeles. It's called Measure B. It has great opportunity, according to proponents, not just for good jobs, but for clean, renewable energy. But opponents say God is in the details and there are some serious flaws with this measure. With us to discuss this, two individuals on both sides of the argument. Bruce Khouri is the president of Solar Integrated Technology. Founder, excuse me, thank you. Ron Kaye, former editor of the Los Angeles Daily News on the No on B side. Bruce, we'll start with you. The affirmative always gets to start. Measure B, give us the hits, runs, and errors, and why are you promoting a yes vote?
Well, Solar Integrated is the only manufacturer of solar panels in Los Angeles. We came into existence off an earlier LIDWP program, which was known as the Solar Initiative. Measure B is a much bigger, much larger game-changing initiative that would mandate that the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power would be required to buy 400 megawatts of solar energy, solar panels, giving preference to Los Angeles-based manufacturers, which would be good for Solar Integrated. We'll also bring in competition and other manufacturers to set up their facilities in Los Angeles to take advantage of that opportunity. And given that the United States is probably the sleeping giant in the industrialized sector on alternative energy, this is the kind of large-scale program that, you know, it will be impactful, will be game-changing. We alone look at this over the next 5 years, should it pass, to add up to 750 new positions at Solar Integrated. So, you know, that's good. It's good for Los Angeles. It's good for the solar industry. That's why we're supporting it.
Ron?
Well, Bruce is the poster child for both sides of this argument. The DWP 10 years ago set up a program that it abandoned. It did it twice more in the ensuing 10 years and produced negligible amount of solar energy. This is its fourth try. How many tries do they get? Because what they've always wanted is a monopoly. And that's what this is, the preservation of a monopoly on energy generation. In solar energy, it's unnecessary. It's not a big power plant. It's a bunch of rooftop installations. They have no plan that went into it. The whole idea was invented by their union, which has blockaded every effort at solar energy. He's the only survivor in our local solar energy because the rest of them walked away from it. It's credit to Mr. Khouri that he survived, but most of his business is overseas and not here. We need a real plan. There isn't any planning that went into this, no analysis. It's a political deal for a blank check to the people who have 3 times failed us, and it's a charter amendment that is a power grab by the city council and the mayor to obliterate the protections that the people have through the Department of Water and Power Commission, through neighborhood councils, and even to the point where the city controller is the only one who does an audit. This doesn't fund those audits, and the leading candidate for city controller is receiving a ton of money for her campaign, Wendy Gruhl, from the IBEW, that stands to be the big beneficiary of this.
Is this a jobs program for IBEW? Because they are giving most of the money to the Yes campaign.
Well, again, you know, the opposition keeps pushing the buzz that this was a wham bam, thank you man, 3-week operation. It wasn't. We know that this has been an ongoing effort for over a period of 2 years. It's a grassroots movement that combined leaders from labor, industry. We were involved in it 9 months ago, as well as environmental groups. So it's been an effort to create a game-changing initiative on the part of the city in LADWP, because what Ron points to is exactly the case. When they say this is the charter amendment, use that buzzword, use the monopoly buzzword, they're all scary buzzwords and they wake people up. But the fact of the matter is that this is an effort that's been an ongoing effort from labor, industry, and environmental groups. It was a 2-year process. There have been reports issued in support of it. The important thing to consider in this regard is that unlike, and it is as a charter amendment, it's not the first charter amendment, it won't be the last charter amendment, but unlike the previous programs, this is a mandate. It's a mandate that's being handed to the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power. They're not going to have the opportunity if things just don't go according to plan like they didn't in previous programs. They don't have the opportunity to just pull the plug, all right, and leave manufacturers high and dry in Los Angeles like we were. They're going to get a mandate handed to them by Los Angelinos to build 400 megawatts of solar power in the basin. Okay, and from our perspective, you know, anybody flying into Los Angeles, you're looking at millions of acres of roofing, okay, that's just idly looking up at the sun, nearly 300 cloudless days a year. From our perspective, that's the greatest waste of real estate.
Ron, what about that? And the Huron report that DWP relied on indicates, based on their assessment, that this would be $1 billion project. It would cost another $1 or so on the bill. Negligible. Respond to that.
That's one report, but all we have is a PowerPoint from that report. Whatever underlying data there is has been kept secret. DWP refuses to take ownership of the report, even though the public paid $140,000 for it. But it's not even the complete report. The complete report was a 5-year study that was mandated by the city charter, looking at all their operations, programs, and management skills. And it was a report suppressed by Eric Garcetti, the city council president, on the days that this was being voted upon, and hid from the city council, hid from the public, and it warned that this was extremely risky, that the costs were 4 times higher and remain unknown. But the really serious provision in this report, called PA Consulting, a very reputable company, after a year-long study that cost $1 million, was that DWP management wasn't up to the job. They were buried in a $5.3 billion rebuilding of the electrical grid and infrastructure that's been allowed to deteriorate, even as EIB-EW members have been getting 6% raises, are paid 30% more than Southern Cal Edison and other utility workers, and have much, much better benefits. Through all this time, the water and power system has been allowed to rot. We have to spend a fortune on that. That's why our rates are soaring. That's why everybody knows they will continue to soar, whether this costs $1 a month, $4 a month. It's only a small portion of the costs that are going up. We have the dirtiest coal-burning plants in America, the most of it. It's in Utah and Arizona. This won't close any of those plants. It won't clean any of our air. And it's not a plan. Nobody's studied any aspect of this.
We're talking about Measure B on the LA City ballot, the investment in solar energy. We'll have more when News Conference returns.